want to ask you 2 or 3 unfiltered conversation kind of questions where I want you to be complete candid and open to our viewers so that they also can relate to your stories. So firstly, I want to know someone who is deeply involved in the real estate market, right? You must have witnessed the transformative power of uh, homes to families and individuals. What, uh, if you had to share a heartwarming story, what that would be, where you have noticed in the beginning of your career, and to see that kind of impact over the resident or whoever you had handed over the project from the Supreme Universal.
I'm going to tell you a story actually, Kritika, about so we do a lot of redevelopment, okay, where we there are old societies where you rehouse them and you give them new apartments. So for them, they might not be people who pay us, but they are still our customers also, right? So I've had somebody who is in, I think, his 70s, and he always had a dream of buying a Supreme home. And he used to live in Bandra. And I remember when we were doing the entire project, uh, before that, he must have visited our office few times to inquire about other projects, but he really could not get to buying an apartment for whatever reasons. Probably it didn't fit his budget or whatever else. And then when this entire project came up, he once met me and told me, you know, there are there is someone above who probably had his or her hand on my head, where I could not afford a Supreme house, but today you have come to redevelop our project, and without paying any money, you're still handing over keys to me for an apartment in a Supreme building to me. And for me, the world has come a whole circle. And I'm living in a project and living in a project of a developer of my choice, where I've been able to upgrade my family without paying 1 rupee. And I don't think that would have ever come to. And he, for the last 5 years, was trying to buy an apartment with us, but his budget would just never allow him. So for me, someone who put that level of trust in us, and was so keen, he literally didn't buy an apartment anywhere else because he wanted to only live in a Supreme Bid project. So for me, that was beyond the profit of that project. And that line and that expression that he just gave me a hug and said, I can't thank you enough. For me today, I feel that I've arrived. And for me, that it was just a very humbling experience, and I have immense gratitude for for people who give us this kind of encouragement, because you forget the profit you made in a project. What you really remember is the experience you had and the experience you gave people.
True.
And for us, I think that pat on our back, nothing can mean more than that.
I honestly believe that, being a real estate developer is a beautiful job altogether, because you guys are not just the creator of building beautiful buildings, but you are giving hope and you're making people dreams come true, right?
Correct.
Because as people always say, roti kapda makan.
Correct.
And the houses are something everyone aspires to have it in some way or the other with certain brands. And I feel the developers are still being underrated, but it's always you guys are being like the best creators, I would say, that is delivering the
I'm sure everyone in every business honestly contributes a lot to society. Some you can see visibly and some you can't.
Yeah.
But thankfully in our case it's a lot more visible. So we also get a lot of flack sometimes, but it's a good business to be in. I can't complain.
So real estate market is quite, challenging. It's quite evolving. It keeps changing. How do you make sure that you keep a positive mindset? Be the situation be prosperous or be challenging. What makes you always motivated or inspired to go with those kind of days where you be having the worst of worst cases happening or the best of the best cases happening?
There's only one formula, Kritika. You have to love what you do.
True.
If you don't love what you do, every day is hell. And if you love what you do, the worst problem can, it can't seem like a problem to you. I mean, let's talk about a mother and child relationship, right? If you have a child, the child is crying at night, not letting you sleep. It's a difficult time. You can't see your child cry, and at the same time you want to sleep, but that process is still not painful because you have so much love for the child that it just seems like a beautiful process, and no mother will look back and say that, I don't know why I did this.
Yeah.
And if you take a mother back again, will say that I would do this whole thing again in spite of all the pain that came with it, and in spite of all the labor. So if you love what you do and if your heart is in the right place, I think that's a very small price to pay, and that's what makes it fun. If an ECG machine is flat, you're dead.
Yeah.
The fun is really when you have these, spokes, up and down, and that's the fun of life, right? If life was as easy, it would not be fun. You would get bored.
Yeah.
So this is what keeps it interesting, and if you can take all this in your stride and make an opportunity out of that, that's when you really feel like you've submitted something. Otherwise, why would someone want to climb Mount Everest if it was as easy as walking on Joggers Park?
What advice would you give to the young individuals who aspire to follow in your footsteps and enter the real estate industry as a part of family legacy?
Firstly, don't think that you're part of family.
Yeah.
If you treat yourself as a professional and you're willing to work your way ground up, in most business families, unfortunately, as soon as the second generation comes in, they're made to sit on the boss's chair. I think that's the worst thing anyone can do to their child. It's important for you to work as a professional in every department, get a salary, live within the means of that salary, understand what life is as a professional, learn from people within the business, and you have to wear two hats, one of a professional at work and the other of a son or daughter, whoever it is. As long as you can keep the son and daughter at home and come to work as a professional and honestly believe that when you're at work, I think you'll learn a lot more.